Hi Stampers, I'm Anna Helman and it's time for another tip video. When you're scoring, do you ever have problems with your score mark jumping around on you and not going straight? If so, I have a couple of tips to share with you that may help. Let's take a look. I'll share first that there is another option to scoring cards besides using a traditional scoring board. And this is it right here. This is the Stampin' Up Tremor, and it has a scoring blade, a scoring tool included on it. So I'll mention this just because if you really struggle to keep your scoring tool in the score lines that I'll show here in just a second, this is a really nice option because you line up your paper, you move the scoring blade, it scores your piece of paper, and you can fold it for your card base or for whatever project you are creating. So I wanted to mention that quickly before I get into the tips for a traditional scoring board. Now, this is my Simply Scored scoring board. I love how big it is because I know with smaller projects or bigger projects and the smaller scoring boards, sometimes you have to be shifting them around and it doesn't all fit on there. And this is just really helpful. It is over 12 inches, the usable area for where my paper can lay. So you can fit a whole piece of 12 by 12 paper in here. But what happens sometimes when you are scoring is you can start to come back and your tool jumps around on you and you get that funny line and then you get frustrated and you know what happens. It happens, right? So a couple of things that I wanted to mention are, one, what is the tool that you are using? This comes with a stylus. It actually has a ball point on each end, two different sizes. And I also often use a bone folder. Now, I do use both, and I'm honestly not sure if I get better results with one or the other, but this is something to play around with, is what tool are you using? If you don't have a stylus and you want to try one out, there is one that comes with a take your pick tool that I use all the time. This piece rotates, it comes out, and then the other tip that comes with it has the two different sizes of stylus. So if you have a scoring board and you want to try a tool with it, you could do that. So play around with which tool you're using in the pressure. You don't want to press too hard because you can actually rip paper. Now, it didn't rip this, but sometimes, because I was pressing really hard with printed papers at times, I have actually slightly torn the paper by pressing too hard. So play around with the pressure, play around with the tool. But for my best tip for keeping your score lines where they're supposed to be, it is to turn your scoring board at an angle that is in line with, if you move your arm from wherever you're working to basically just back beside your side where your elbow is by your side, figure out what is that angle? How is it most natural for you to move your arm? And then line up the lines on your scoreboard with that same angle. So as you bring your arm back, hopefully everything is staying in line. I'm going to shift this over a bit so it should be with my natural angle that I'm moving my arm. And what I find is that when I do this, I have much better luck getting my score lines where they're supposed to be than, for example, if I have my board turned like this in front of me. And yes, I can do it correctly, but right there, I got one that was off a little bit down here. It jumped lines. So when you keep that angle the way it's most comfortable for your arm movement, that makes a huge difference. One more thing I'll mention before we go is I've watched different stampers score when they're learning how to do this. And if you're very rigid, that doesn't really help either. So if you just try to lighten up a little bit and just relax and just go with it, a lot of times that makes a big difference as well. So I hope this is helpful for you. If you like card making tips and tricks, please subscribe to my channel if you're new here. If you want to watch some more, you can click on the name of my channel below. Go to my main page with all my videos listed, and right there at the top is my card making tips and and tricks playlist. Thanks for being here. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.